Hello, imaginary friends, and welcome to the Imaginaries Literary Podcast. Today we are continuing our conversation with Cindy, where we just talk about query letters, what goes into them, and how to write them. In a query letter, tell me what stands out to you. What is the... Is it just the story? Is it the comps? Is it just the way that they structure it? Tell me what works for you. When somebody sends you a query letter, what works? What stands out?
All right. There are parts to a query. You know, if you've queried a publisher,
Caleb knows. I don't.
Have several different parts. Okay, well, a query to a publisher for a book needs to have several different parts. And the first part is your basic query letter. It has several layers, and the essential query is it's like your cover letter if you're applying for a job. It's your first little bit. I want it to be brief. Let me know something about either you, the book, why you wrote it, the genre. It needs to say the word count, and it tells maybe a little bit about yourself, a little bit about why you wrote the book, a short description of the story. That's really all I'm looking for in your essential query letter. The first little queried bit doesn't need to be long for me. I'm not looking for something flashy. Mainly just make it brief, to the point, professional, courteous. Start with the name of either the publisher, dear editors, dear agent. If you can, go through the list and name somebody specifically. Sir or madam is really outdated, and I really recommend against that. Because it's just outdated. That's all. It's not bad. It's just outdated.
Quite. Yes, indeed. Indubitably.
At the very least, know the name of the publishing house that you're querying. And it's okay if you just put dear publishing house and put the name. That's fine. Nobody's going to say, "Ooh, that's too generic." That is not too generic. You got the right publishing house, and let me tell you, we've gotten plenty that were addressed to the wrong publishing house. So
wow.
This isn't Random House.
Copy paste.
They do, because a lot of people query, 100 different publishers, and we get that. I get it too, but it is important to look carefully. It's just like if you're applying for a job, you need to make sure that the cover letters all say the right name.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. It's just the exact same thing. Now, the things that you don't want in a query letter, because it is a brief introduction, is you don't want your whole bio there. You don't want your whole synopsis for your book there, or you don't want to say here or anywhere else, this is the book you've been waiting for, because everybody feels that way. It may be, it may not be, but everybody feels that way, and you should feel that way.
Yeah.
But I have a list of 12 others that I need to read right now, and they all feel that way, so I just need to put it aside. And so it's going to put me off just a little bit if somebody is doing a used car salesman.
Seriously, Stan, you can't afford not to buy a car like this, and I'm going to make it easy on you.
Here's the next great American novel. You're welcome.
Yes, I've read that a lot of times, and
a lot of times.
A lot of times, and you need to believe it of yourself. You really do. You need to believe in your heart that it can be the best. There's a difference in believing it and then overselling before you know for sure.
Yeah.
Be the kind of courteous you would be if you're looking for a job outside of publishing, because it's really about the same thing.
Yeah. I mean, like you said, it's like a partnership with you. Hopefully, if you find an agent, that right agent or that right editor or that right publishing company, that they are going to go into partnership with you. And so you don't want to go in with a cocky,
that's right,
person who's not going to listen to you or thinks that they're better than whomever. You're about to go into a very long relationship together, and you want to start it off on the right foot. So
it does matter. I choose authors that I know that I can spend a year in a relationship with. I mean, that's important, because they need to know that about me, and I need to know that about them. We'll have to write a bio. That's terrible. Everybody hates it.
Good. Okay. Glad everyone does.
The beauty of it is I was really in the process, or had just finished writing a bio for my website when I was writing this first little bit of stuff on querying, because I had to rewrite my bio, and I could honestly say, I hate this. This is horrible. I hate it so much.
I'm so glad you said that too.
Yeah, it's horrible. It makes you question everything.
Yeah.
Like, who am I and why should I write it down?
I'm
But
just a guy looking at an agent sitting across
Yeah.
from me.
I'm also just a girl standing in front of a boy asking him to love her.
Can I just say no?
read a bunch of bios,
Yeah.
that'll help. I just want to know basically who you are. I don't need to know anything you don't want to tell me. If you want to say, I grew up in a house full of books and now I'm writing a book because it's my heart. Or if you want to say, I've been to, college for 27 years and I've got 12 degrees and, a couple of PhDs and I know everything there is to know about writing and I'm interested, but I'm not totally swayed by a degree in publishing or a degree in literary writing, in literature or in fine arts or in writing. People have masters in writing and their books still need editing. They're still great or good, but they all need editing. So just tell me who you are in general. I don't need to know your address in your bio. If you don't want to tell me what state you live in, I don't care. Or what country or any,
Right.
It's just whatever you want to tell me about yourself is good as long as it tells me a little bit about who you are and what you would be like as an author to work with. That's what I'm looking for. Most everybody is going to be asking when you query for the genre and the category of your book. This is more important than it sounds, probably. You know what the genre is. It's going to be fiction or nonfiction? Is it going to be horror? Is it romance? Is it science fiction, fantasy? You don't have to give every subgenre that, if it's fantasy and then several subgenres of that doesn't matter really to the publisher right off the bat. That's okay. That's really my job. I'll figure out all the subcategories. You've got to figure out the main genre. Part of that is I need to know that you know what you've written.
I don't know.
And that's important, that you know sort of what you've written. I don't need to read. I've got a book that's a little bit of every genre put together because there isn't a category in the bookstore for that. And if you want your book to sell, it's like in the grocery store. Does it go in the refrigerator section or does it go in the dry food section? Right. And if you don't know where your food needs to go to be sold, the store may not buy it from you. Okay? And if you're a seller, you have to know where it has to go. So a book has to fit somewhere that a bookseller can put it. Yeah. So you have to know what your genre is. And if you struggle with finding genre, find books that are like yours. Yeah. Go to Amazon.
Those comp titles.
And you go all the way to the bottom. You can go to the publication information. And you'll find the publisher, the date, and you'll find the categories down there at the bottom. It'll say what categories it's listed under. Now, a lot of people do, especially now, they're writing books that are kind of a blend of, say, fantasy and sci-fi. That is a common blend. Mm-hmm. These days, there's going to be romance and fantasy, mystery and fantasy, mystery and thriller, that kind of thing. That's okay. Go ahead and say there, and if there's a dominant, go ahead and say that. And it'll be the publisher's job to figure out which one's dominant and list that one first and that sort of thing. And we look into what will be best for marketing. That's our job, to work on those kinds of bits. As far as marketing through category and keywords, those are a thing with online marketing too. But what you just have to know is what genre you think you're writing in, what you're aiming for. And that also goes to your audience. And if you know your audience, you know what they're looking for. Category is the age category that you're writing for. So adult is easy. That's adults. New adults, that's 18 to 30. Usually new adult has more sexual content because new adults have more sexual content.
Hopefully, right?
Yeah, most likely. Young adult is 13 to 18. Middle grade, 10 to 12. Children, board books. 0 to 3, picture books 4 to 7, early readers 5 to 7, chapter books 6 and above. My publishing company, we only do young adult and up. Mm-hmm. So that's really important when you're querying. Make absolutely sure you've got a publisher or an agent who accepts the age category you've got. That's just an automatic rejection that nobody needs.
Right.
Why put that on yourself? I wonder this almost every day when I see these things, when people submit something that's just a category, we can't accept it because we don't publish it. And I think, why make yourself get that email? Because it's going to be an email that says no, and it hurts. I know it hurts, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's going to say no because somebody didn't take time to see that we don't publish picture books. And so they're going to get a form letter that says no.
No, thank you.
It says, no, I think our form letter doesn't just say no thank you. It says no, your book isn't right for us at this time. But thank you so very much.
That's better.
Your book has to grow up for us to think about.
Your book needs to grow about 10 years before.
As does your audience.
Yeah, as genre and category, make sure your publisher that you're looking at and submitting to is accepting those genres and those categories, because it's such an easy thing to not get rejected for.
Yeah. Yeah. Hi. If you want to watch something, watch this, or maybe it's over here. I don't know where it's going to be, but it's going to be somewhere.